everybody. Welcome to this week's Weekly Roundup. And I have to apologize. I am not doing a good job at getting these done every week. And even today, I reached out to my team and said, hey, can we move it from the morning to the afternoon? And it's just busy around here these days, and busy for really good reasons, of which I'll share with you, and obviously some not so good, like the Main Street Bridge too. But I just wanted to explain, I'm sorry that it's been a minute. I'm going to do my best to make sure we can continue to carve out the time to get these done. But if not, it's a nice natural plug for our newsletter. So our media and comms director has put together a really lovely newsletter. Each week it's kind of Weekly Roundup style, just a nice summary of what's happening, what meetings are happening, what events are happening, big topics for the city. So if I'm not doing a good enough job of getting you the information here, I'd really encourage you to sign up for our newsletter as well. So we are almost done with construction season, but not quite there yet. So this year we have accomplished 18,020 linear feet of road improvement. That is the longest, or the highest amount rather, that we've done in a few years. Each year that I've been here, we've worked to, as best we can with the funding that we have, increase that amount of linear feet. Sometimes when we have a project that requires a lot of money, like for example, Oconomowoc Avenue, I think was right around $1 million. You know, a big reconstruction street, that linear footage will go down. But this year was the highest year that we've had in some time. And that's through a combination of both maintenance, like crack filling and seal coating, and resurfacing, and full reconstruction as well. We do have a few streets we're going to resurface yet this year. So those are South 9th from Western to Kleiman, Milwaukee from 2nd to 4th, and Spring Street from 4th to 5th. We also have some patches that will get done yet this year. So we're looking at that resurfacing happening probably like the last-ish week of October, and then the patching and such and paving happening in maybe like the second week of November. So hopefully Mother Nature holds off and we can get that road work done. Next year, we obviously have some big projects coming, things like Western Avenue in that First Street area, and then a lot of design work for roads that we get asked about quite a bit. So, oh, actually I should mention, also next year, we are using some local road improvement money for resurfacing Meadowbrook Drive from North 4th Street to Beacon Drive, and resurfacing North 4th Street from State Highway 16 to Carl Schurz Drive. So both of those roads are major roads, obviously in and out of the city for the North 4th, but also for our emergency personnel. So we want to make sure that those roads are taken care of. We get asked all the time, what about Dewey Avenue? So just a reminder, Dewey Avenue is due in 2026. And if the budget that we passed last night at the Finance Committee gets approved by the full council in November, it will include design money for Dewey Avenue, Laborie Street, and Main Street. So the design for really 3 big streets is also budgeted for next year. The project at Tivoli Island is complete, and it looks different. We go to Tivoli Island a few times a year, more when our kids were younger, but from my recollection, it looks different. So if you haven't gone yet, I'd encourage you, while the weather is still great, to take a stroll through Tivoli Island and check out that work that was done really to stabilize the shoreline and stabilize the island so that we can continue to enjoy it. I alluded to this. We have been working on the budget, which is part of the reason I haven't seen you all as consistently. Is the budget is a tremendous lift of time in an already very busy schedule that we keep here at the city. This week in particular, we had many evenings of budget meetings, and last night the Finance Committee did approve an amended version of the proposed budget. That proposed budget will now go to the full council in November, but there is a public hearing, and that is November 4th. So if you're someone who wants to have better awareness of what's in our city budget and how we're spending our money, what the impact on taxes, all of those things are, we will post that draft budget on our website. We'll do a social media post when that's ready. And then the public hearing really is the place, another opportunity to participate and share your questions and your ideas. I will share the budget that I presented to the Finance Committee had no increase or decrease, so stayed the same as last year on the general fund levy. It's a little technical, all to say that the big budget that the majority of our city operates out of is not proposing an increase. There is still an increase to the overall levy, and that is happening through our debt levy. So what our debt budget is essentially our predetermined debt payments. So you take out a car loan, they give you a schedule of payments, and you have to make those payments each year. With the way our debt is that the way that we kind of refinance it at certain points in time and schedule those debt payments, some years the levy is slightly up, some years it's down. So while there is no increase in the general fund levy, there is a small increase in our debt payments. Therefore, the debt levy will see a small increase. As it stands today, super generalized numbers. Please don't take these and run with them because it depends what county you live in. It depends what other taxing jurisdictions do. But just on the city side, so just a generalized idea of what that proposed levy I just described to you is about $33 per 100,000. So if you have a $300,000 home, what that changes is just under $100 for the whole year. So I know people want to have tax cuts, and I continue to attempt to normalize that when prices are increasing and labor costs are 76% of our budget, even when we do a 0% increase on everything else besides personnel, which is what we did do this year in our general fund, those costs we still have to pay the rising costs of maintenance contracts, or the rising cost of electricity or steel or any of those items. So that $100 or just under $100, that would be the impact for someone whose home is about $300,000, is the absorption of those things that we can't necessarily control the cost of. So to be able to say those things would mean we'd have to reduce services, and that is not something that myself or the Finance Committee thought was appropriate. So honestly, I'm proud of the budget that was produced, and I'm looking forward to it hopefully getting discussed and passed at the council in November. So if you're interested, pay attention. November is really the next stop. The other thing that understandably has been taking up some time is our bridge. I would be remiss to not mention the Main Street Bridge. Obviously, there's been articles and news coverage and messages on our city Facebook page about the bridge. And the long and short here is we will just continue to stay on top of ensuring that a conversation about the acceleration of a new date is happening. Next week, I do have a meeting with the leadership of the Department of Transportation. The goal of that meeting is to understand the acceleration options that are possible, and to work to get those funded so that we can hopefully align a date closer to early spring versus the new date that was being proposed around midsummer. So I will do my best to continue to provide updates to you all on that topic, but that is really kind of the next touch point for that. Switching gears, the park bathrooms will begin to close next week. Shortly thereafter, we'll begin to winterize the parks. So that's things like swings and stuff like, I think I saw the batting cages are down at Washington Park. So slowly but surely, as the weather starts to change, we will begin to take down some of those park items, and we will begin by closing the neighborhood park bathrooms and winterizing those first. On the rec front, we are registering for wrestling. That's for 5K through 8th grade. Tuesday and Thursday evenings. The registration ends October 13th. And then we're also doing ballet and tap for exercise classes. We have kick and hit. And then we will also be sharing some school closed activities because, believe it or not, we're like days away, it feels like, from that fall conference, that late October week where schools are closed for 2 days. So we'll share more information on that as we get closer. The library is having a film festival. So this is for short films. The deadline is the new year, so plenty of time to either resurrect a former film you made or perhaps make a new one. The winner of that gets to have their short shown at the town cinema, which is pretty awesome. The fire department is coming along very nicely, knock on like every piece of wood. So grateful for really excellent construction administration and great contractors on that site. And a great team here that's being really nimble to the questions that are asked. So if you haven't drive by. The brick is up, and it's pretty neat to see it begin to take shape. Our goal is to have that building fully enclosed for the winter, so a ton of great interior work can happen then. So drive by and take a look if you haven't seen it yet, but don't stop in traffic. Next week, we're having a mayor meetup Thursday at Watertown Regional Medical Center in Harvest Market from noon to 1, which means it's a great chance to get a great lunch. If you're interested in coming, that's just an hour where I am answering questions and hearing concerns of residents. And those hours always go by pretty quickly. So Thursday from 12 to 1 at Harvest at the hospital. Elections are coming up and there's a date next week. So October 16th is the last day to register online or by mail for the November election. So please keep that in mind. You can obviously register in person, but the last day to register online or by mail is October 16th. And then pencil it in-person absentee voting is October 22nd. So we'll share more information on that. But if you need to do in-person absentee voting, that does not begin until October 22nd. Last item is the police department has been receiving an increase in calls about scam calls that are going out to residents, and they say they're officers of the Watertown Police Department, and they're asking for money. So as a reminder, RPD will never call you and ask you for money. If you're unsure if someone is a scammer, hang up, call the police department directly, and an officer, if it was really an officer, would obviously continue to speak to you. And then just a reminder that if someone does call, we'd love for you to give us a call. So call the non-emergency number, let us know what happened. It helps us to be able to inform and alert the public and investigate those as well. So this weekend, believe it or not, the marathon of Halloween events begins already, which reminds me I need to get Halloween costumes for my children because Trunk or Treat at AdTech is this weekend on Saturday already from 6 to 8. They are doing a sensory-friendly hour, which is tremendous. So if you're interested, check out Watertown Tourism for those event details. And then also this weekend is Downtown Detour Day. And this is just an intentional reminder to go downtown and support our local businesses. So I'm sure there will be excellent opportunities to taste things or a great sale perhaps. But the reason here is just an intentionality around supporting our downtown businesses, much like we did during COVID, you guys. This community rallied so strongly during COVID, and as this bridge construction extends, I'm just asking for us to kind of have that same intentionality about supporting all of our local businesses in the community, and in particular our local businesses downtown. So if you are available this weekend, make sure you hit up Downtown Detour Day. So that's all that I have. Have a good weekend. We'll see you next week.